And he drives the syringe straight into Claire's the fourth line.
Right into the vein.
Welcome to the deep dive. We are dropping you right into the exact second the chaos kicks off. No preamble today.
No time for one. You are right there in the 8th Street tunnel.
Marcus Thorne finds the monster. He has Silas Vane dead to rights in the quiet carriage. Vane is literally mid-surgery on Claire Montgomery.
Yeah.
Marcus has the element of surprise. He has his revolver. But instead of taking the shot...
He goes for the medical tray.
Exactly. He grabs that syringe of Solution 10 and plunges it into Claire's the fourth.
Which is such a massive, defining character moment for Marcus.
It really is.
Because you have to understand what Solution 10 does in the context of 1964 medicine. It's an extreme, highly potent reversal agent for barbiturate sedation.
Right, it's like an adrenaline shot on steroids.
Basically, it's meant to violently shock a patient's system back to consciousness. It hits Claire's heart in seconds. It yanks her right out of the deep anesthesia Vane had her under.
Which completely ruins Vane's meticulously planned procedure. Marcus prioritizes the immediate preservation of Claire's life over catching or killing the suspect.
Yeah.
So the victim is safe. But how does Vane react? Because if you're a serial killer and your supposed masterpiece is ruined, you'd expect rage.
You would.
Yeah.
You'd expect him to panic or scramble for a weapon or curse.
But Document LL, the after-action report, says he just smiles.
He just smiles. It's so disturbing.
It's chilling. He calmly drops the scalpel, and then he picks up a chemical flare, one of those standard tunnel illumination flares.
Yeah, the magnesium ones.
And he tosses it directly into a cluster of highly pressurized medical oxygen tanks.
The ones he dragged all the way down there for the surgery.
And
It was absolute devastation.
The report describes this blast tearing through the quiet carriage, and this is where the physical toll really hits. The explosion physically throws 54-year-old Sully right against the stone wall of the tunnel.
It cracks 3 of his ribs instantly.
Shards of bone, and it shatters his knee.
Completely shatters it. He drops to the ground, totally immobilized.
It's a nightmare scenario. Fire is spreading everywhere. The tunnel is filling with toxic smoke. Claire is coughing. She's breathing on her own, thanks to Marcus. But Vane uses the smoke and the chaos to slip away toward the old service stairs.
Right. And this brings us to what I think is easily the most controversial, heavily debated moment in the entire narrative.
Oh, absolutely. The behavioral probability moment.
Exactly. Marcus looks at Sully. His partner is bleeding, broken on the tunnel floor, unable to walk.
A normal partner stays.
A normal partner absolutely stays. You administer first aid, you try to carry him out. But Marcus's brain doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't.
He analyzes the severity of Sully's injuries. He does the math right there in the smoke. He calculates coldly and clinically that while the injuries are traumatic, the statistical probability of Sully surviving is actually quite high.
As long as he remains still.
Right. But the odds of catching Vane, those drop to absolute 0 if Marcus stops to play medic.
So he leaves him.
He just leaves him. He grabs his revolver, turns his back on his bleeding partner, and sprints into the smoke to track Vane.
We really need to pause and sit with the implications of that choice. Because it asks such a harsh question about Marcus. Does this ruthless calculation make him a visionary detective, or does it border on sociopathic?
It's the ethical friction at the very core of who he is.
Yeah.
Think about Marcus's behavioral probability framework like an early predictive algorithm, but it's housed inside a human brain.
Right. Algorithms don't care about camaraderie.
Exactly. They only care about outcomes.
Yeah.
For Marcus, objective math is the only thing he trusts. He sacrifices human sentiment for statistical efficiency.
Which is brutal.
It is cold-blooded.
Yeah.
But is it the only reason he actually stays on Vane's trail? Also, yes.
It's a huge cost. It's prioritizing statistics over humanity, even if it gets results.
And you have to remember the physical environment they're in right now.
Oh, man. The spatial transition here is just grueling.
It really is.
Because we are moving from the literal subterranean bowels of the city, this rotting, burning, corrupt foundation, and Marcus is pushing himself up these ancient, steep service stairs.
He's coughing on smoke.
His adrenaline is spiking. He's dragging himself upward step after step, leaving the underground fires behind.
And the environmental storytelling here is just striking. They emerge from the earth at the highest topographical point in the city.
The base of the Liberty Memorial Tower.
Right.
You really have to visualize this shift for a second. It's late October. They go from this claustrophobic, burning tunnel into a massive open arena, and it is completely shrouded in thick, freezing autumn fog.
The base of the limestone memorial is totally enveloped in blinding mist.
It's a total sensory shock. Which brings us right to document MM.
The reconstructed dialogue transcript from Thorne's official statement to Internal Affairs.
Up until this exact moment, the story has been this grueling physical hunt. But up here, in the freezing fog at the memorial, it transforms.
It becomes a philosophical war.
Marcus has Vane cornered. Vane is backed up against this temporary wooden construction scaffolding that's wrapped around the northern wall of the memorial.
Right.
Marcus yells into the fog. He tells Vane the chase is over. He says you're out of places to hide, and more importantly, you're out of places to graft.
A direct reference to Vane's M.O.
His biological architecture.
Yeah.
And Vane's response to Marcus's warning, it's deeply revealing.
It anchors his entire delusion.
Do you have the exact quote from Document MM there? Because it's so important.
I do. Vane's voice echoes out of the fog, and he tells Marcus that he fundamentally misunderstands the architecture of the city. He says, quote, "The bottoms are just the foundation, the memorial. This is the spire. Look at it. A monument to the dead. You and I are the only ones trying to keep this city alive."
A monument to the dead. It's such a warped, twisted perspective.
Completely.
He's standing under a literal pillar of civic pride, a memorial built to honor the sacrifices of World War I, and he claims it's merely a celebration of death.
While genuinely viewing his own slaughterhouse underground as the thing keeping the city's pulse going.
Right. Vane actually believes his biological architecture is an evolutionary step. He yells out, "I gave them perfection! I gave them symmetry!"
He has completely dehumanized his victims. They're just raw materials for a civic masterpiece in his mind.
But the most insidious weapon Vane uses in this fog isn't the scalpel or a gun. It's the psychological mirror he holds up to Marcus.
Oh, this is the crux of the whole standoff.
Vane tells Marcus to put down the gun, and then he says the quiet part out loud. He says, "We are the same. We both dissect the world to make it make sense."
And that hits hard. Because if you look objectively at Marcus's behavioral probability vein, is identifying a really uncomfortable truth.
He is.
Marcus does dissect the world. He strips away humanity, emotion, context. He reduces complex individuals to data points and statistics.
He cuts the world into numbers to understand the chaos.
Just like he did when he left Sully bleeding out in the tunnel 10 minutes ago.
Exactly. Marcus uses mathematical dissection to cope with a city that is fundamentally broken. Vane uses physical dissection to impose his own sick version of order.
They are two men utilizing different forms of desecration to survive the exact same chaotic environment.
When you put it like that, it's just chilling. You can almost feel the freezing fog suffocating Marcus as the weight of those words hits him.
The realization that maybe he's just a sanitized version of the monster he's hunting.
But Marcus, despite all his flaws, despite the cold calculations, he possesses something Vane lacks entirely. He delivers a response that reclaims his morality.
It's his defining moment.
He looks into the fog and says, "The difference is I know when to stop cutting."
It is a brilliant encapsulation of what separates a hard compromise from absolute evil.
Yeah.
Morality, in Marcus's view, isn't about avoiding the darkness entirely. It's about recognizing the boundary.
Right.
Marcus knows exactly where the line is between analytical survival and malicious desecration. Vane erased that line a long time ago.
And the second those words leave Marcus's mouth, the tension just snaps. Vane lunges out of the mist. He's wielding a surgical bone saw.
But Marcus doesn't flinch.
Not even a little. He fires 2 rapid shots. The impact sends Vane stumbling backward. He crashes heavily into that temporary wooden construction scaffolding,
You can almost hear the sound of the wood splintering.
giving way under his weight, and Vane plummets backward. He disappears into the fog-filled reservoir below the memorial.
It's the definitive end to the physical confrontation.
When you read that part of the transcript, you honestly just find yourself letting out this massive breath you didn't know you were holding.
Yeah, you really do.
As a reader, you feel this overwhelming sense of relief. The monster is slain. He fell from the highest spire into the dark water below. It's the classic triumphant end to the nightmare.
But the reality of this city doesn't allow for clean, triumphant endings.
It really doesn't. Which brings us to Document NN.
The unpublished final draft written by our intrepid reporter, Eleanor Vance.
This document completely shatters that feeling of relief. Because what does Eleanor report as the official story? The police dredge the reservoir beneath the Liberty Memorial for 3 agonizing days.
They pull up a charcoal wool coat.
They pull up a bone saw,
They document a massive amount of blood in the water.
but they do not find a body.
Not a single trace of Silas Vane.
But the institutions of the city, they are desperate to move on, right? Captain Miller, representing the polished, modernizing face of the department, holds a massive press conference.
Oh yeah, he stands right at a podium and officially declares the ghost of the Bottoms deceased.
He claims the body was simply swept into the city's complex underground drainage system. Bang the gavel, case closed. The city gets to sleep soundly.
It's the perfect bureaucratic solution. It sweeps the ugliness right under the rug.
But Document NN reveals the permanent trauma inflicted on everyone else. Sully takes early retirement. His body is just broken from that blast in the tunnel.
The old era is officially stepping down.
And Marcus is more isolated than ever.
Eleanor describes him sitting alone at his desk in a bustling precinct, completely ignoring the closed case file.
Instead, he's obsessively staring at missing person reports from across the Midwest.
He's no longer just solving local murders. He's looking for, as she writes, the surgical precision in the chaos.
He knows the math. He is perpetually waiting for the other shoe to drop.
And according to Eleanor's draft, that shoe definitely drops.
It does. The tone of her article shifts from this somber reflection to absolute terror. Because the day before she submitted that final draft, a nondescript package was delivered to her desk at the newsroom.
And inside this box,
Inside is a single pristine white silk glove, and it's tied at the wrist with a flawless, perfect surgeon's knot.
a surgeon's knot, the ultimate signature.
Yeah.
It's not just a message saying I'm alive. It's a statement of absolute control from Vane. He's telling the public eye that he's out there, he's watching, and his hands are perfectly steady.
Eleanor ties this terrifying cliffhanger perfectly back to Marcus's core philosophy, behavioral probability. She poses the ultimate question in her draft. She writes, "In a city built on tunnels, corruption, and dark corners, what are the odds the butcher is actually gone?"
And she answers her own question with a chilling reality. Statistically speaking, zero.
Zero.
If we synthesize everything we've looked at today, the takeaway is profoundly unsettling. This narrative endures because it's far more than a simple cat-and-mouse thriller.
It's a fundamental clash of worldviews.
Exactly. On one side, you have Marcus Thorne's desperate, almost tragic reliance on science, statistics, and probability to force a sense of order onto a chaotic world.
And on the other side is Silas Vane's grandiose delusion that violence, deception, and biological manipulation are the only true paths to achieving civic perfection.
They're two sides of a fractured society desperately trying to make sense of itself during a period of massive upheaval.
And that leads me to something I want you, our listener, to really mull over as you go about your day. Consider the physical architecture of the city we've been exploring.
Yeah.
You have this metropolis actively transitioning into modernity, building grand memorials and shiny new civic structures, but it is quite literally built right on top of rotting, forgotten, blood-soaked prohibition tunnels.
A rotten foundation.
So when the official institutions we're supposed to trust boldly step up to the microphones and declare that a monster has been cleanly swept into the drainage system, what does it say about our society when all the hidden, quiet evidence suggests the monster didn't wash away at all?
What if he just adapted to the new architecture?
Exactly. It begs the question, where do the monsters hide when a city decides to simply pave over its past?
History suggests they hide in plain sight. They simply adapt to the new structures we build for them.
And that wraps our deep dive into the Season 1 finale, The Architect's Fall. We've seen Marcus Thorne make his choice, we've seen Vane plummet into the fog, and we've seen the terrifying proof that a perfect surgeon's knot can arrive in the mail when you least expect it.
So I have to ask,
Yeah.
what are the odds he's actually gone? We'll see it in Season 2.